Shalom and blessings, warriors of Yahuwah and the truth. I'm going to continue on with video 11 for spiritual captivity, how to tell your family, with Filipini. Okay. Rascal, go! Ugh. Stop. Okay. Sorry about that. Daniel 6. It pleased Darius to appoint over the reign 120 viceroys to be over all the reign, and over them 3 governors, of whom Daniel was one, so that these viceroys should give account to them, and the king suffer no loss. Then this Daniel distinguished himself above the governors and viceroys, because an excellent ruach was in him, and the king planned to appoint him over all the reign. Then the governors and viceroys sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the reign, but they were unable to find occasion or corruption, because he was steadfast, and no negligence or corruption was found in him. Then these men said, "We shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, unless we find it against him concerning the law of his Allah." Then these governors and viceroys tumultuously gathered before the king and said this to him: "King Darius, live forever. All the governors of the reign, the nobles and viceroys, the counselors and advisers, have consulted together to establish a royal decree, and to make a strong interdict that whoever petitions an Allah or man for 30 yomim, except you, O king, is thrown into the den of lions. Now, O king, establish the interdict and sign the writing, so that it is not to be changed according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which does not pass away." So King Darius signed the written interdict, and Daniel when he knew that the writing was signed, went home, and in his upper room, with his windows open towards Jerusalem, he knelt down on his knees 3 times per yom, and prayed and gave thanks before his Allah, as he had done before. Then these men tumultuously gathered and found Daniel praying and entreating before his Allah. Then they approached the king and spoke concerning the king's interdict. "Have you not signed an interdict that every man who petitions any Allah or man within 30 yomim, except you, O king, is thrown into the den of lions?" The king answered and said, "The word is certain according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which does not pass away." Then they answered and said before the king, "Daniel, who is one of the sons of the exile from Yehuda, pays no heed to you, O king, nor for the interdict that you have signed, but makes his petition 3 times per yom." Then the king, when he heard these words, was greatly displeased with himself, and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him. And he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. Then these men tumultuously gathered before the king, and said to the king, "Know, O king, that it is the law of the Medes and Persians, that any interdict or decree which the king establishes is not to be changed." Then the king gave orders, and they brought Daniel and threw him into the den of lions. But the king spoke and said to Daniel, "Your Allah, whom you serve continually, he himself delivers you." And a stone was brought and laid on the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet, and with the signets of his great men, that the situation concerning Daniel might not be changed. And the king went to his palace, and spent the Layla fasting. And no entertainment was brought before him, and his sleep fled from him. Then the king rose up very early in the morning, and hurried to the den of lions. And when he came to the den, he called with a grieved voice to Daniel. The king spoke and said to Daniel, "Daniel, servant of the living Allah, has your Allah, whom you serve continually, been able to deliver you from the lions?" Then Daniel said to the king, "O king, live forever. My Allah has sent his messenger, and has shut the lions' mouths, and they did not harm me, because I was found innocent before him. And also before you, O king, I have done no harm." Then the king was very glad and gave orders that Daniel be taken up out of the den. And Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no harm was found on him, because he trusted in his Allah. And the king gave orders that they brought those men who had accused Daniel, and he threw them, their children and their wives, into the den of lions. And the king gave orders that they brought those men who had accused Daniel, and they threw them, their children and their wives, into the den of lions. And the lion overpowered them and broke all their bones in pieces before they reached the floor of the den. Then King Darius wrote to all peoples, Goyim, which means nations, and languages that dwell in all the Eretz, the earth. "Peace be increased to you. From before me is made a decree that throughout every rule of my reign, men are to tremble and fear before the Allah of Daniel. For he is the living Allah, and steadfast forever. And his reign is one which is not destroyed, and his rule is to the end. He delivers and rescues, and he works signs and wonders in the Shamayim and on Eretz, for he has delivered Daniel from the power of the lions. And this Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius and in the reign of Koresh the Persian." Daniel 7. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babel, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head on his bed, and he wrote down the dream, giving a summary of the matters. Daniel spoke and said, "I was looking in my vision by Layla, and saw the four winds of the Shamayim stirring up the great sea, and four great beasts came up from the sea, different from one another. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. I was looking until its wings were plucked off, and it was lifted up from the Eretz, or the earth, and made to stand on 2 feet like a man. And it was given a man's heart. And see another beast, a second, like a bear, and it was raised up on one side, and had 3 ribs in its mouth, between its teeth. And they said this to it, Arise, devour much flesh. After this I looked and saw another like a leopard, which had on its back 4 wings of a bird. The beast also had 4 heads, and rule was given to it. After this I looked in the Layla visions, or the night visions, and saw a 4th beast, fearsome and burly, exceedingly strong, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and crushed and trampled down the rest with its feet. And it was different from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. I was thinking about the horns, then saw another horn, a little one, coming up among them, and 3 of the first horns were plucked out by the roots before it. And see, eyes like the eyes of a man were in this horn, and a mouth speaking great words. I was looking until thrones were set up, and the ancient Yomim was seated. Atik Yomin, ancient of days. His garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head was like clean wool. His throne was flames of fire, its wheels burning fire. A stream of fire was flowing and coming forth from his presence, and 1,000 thousands served him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judge was seated, and the books were opened. I was looking, then because of the sound of the great words which the horn was speaking, I was looking until the beast was slain, and its body destroyed and given to the burning fire. And the rest of the beasts had their rule taken away, but a lengthening of life was given to them for a season and a time. I was looking in the Layla visions, the night visions, and saw one like the son of Anush, or man, that means man, coming with the mountains of the Shamayim, heaven. And he came to the ancient of Yomim, and they brought him near before him, and to him was given rulership and preciousness, and a reign that all peoples, Goyim, nations, and languages should serve him. His rule is an everlasting rule, which shall not pass away, and his reign that which cannot or shall not be destroyed. As for me, Daniel, my ruach was pierced within my body, and the visions of my head alarmed me. I drew near to one of those who stood by and asked him the certainty of all this. And he spoke to me and made known to me the interpretation of the matters. These great beasts, which are four kings, which rise up from the Eretz, or the earth. Then the Kodesh ones of the Most High shall receive the rain and possess the rain forever, even forever and ever. Then I desire for certainty concerning the fourth beast, which was different from all the others, very fearsome, with its teeth of iron and its nails of bronze, which devoured, crushed, and trampled down the rest with its feet. And concerning the 10 horns that were on its head, and of the other horn that came up before which 3 fell, this horn which had eyes and a mouth which spoke great words, whose appearance was greater than his fellows. I was looking, and this horn was fighting against the Kodesh ones, the holy ones, and was prevailing against them, until the Ancient of Yomim, Ancient of Days, came, and lawfulness was given to the Kodesh ones of the highest one. And the time came, and the Kodesh ones took possession of the rain. This is what he said. The fourth beast is the fourth rain on Eretz, or on the earth, which is different from all other rains. And it devours all of the Eretz, tramples it down, and crushes it. All history has seen separate kingdoms, each given borders set by Yahuwah. In the last days, a global one-world power is set up to devour all rains, with 10 territories over earth. This is the work of the planners to set up a new world order, aka New Age, under the United Goyim, or United Nations. And the 10 horns are 10 kings from this reign. They shall rise, and another shall rise after them, and it is different from the first ones, and it humbles 3 kings. And it speaks words against the Most High, and it wears out the Kodesh ones of the highest one, and it intends to change appointed times in Torah, and they are given into its hand for a time, and times, and half a time. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away its rule, to cut off and to destroy, until the end. And the reign, and the rulership, and the greatness of the reigns under all the Shamayim shall be given to the people, the Kodesh ones of the highest one. His reign is an everlasting reign, and all rulership shall serve and obey him. This is the end of the matter. As for me, Daniel, my thoughts greatly alarmed me, and my color changed, and I kept the matter in my heart. And the next lesson will be from the same book with Daniel 8 and Daniel 9. And after that, there's Malachi. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I love you all, and I hope you all have a blessed evening. Shalom.